So we're going to be starting a major planting project. I am going to be revamping, refreshing, restyling, everything of my plant collection of about, I would say, 50% of my plant collection. And we're going to be starting with this shelf here. Main focus is this shelf and my curved shelf. I will give you guys close-ups of what they're looking like, but there's plants that I really am not loving anymore that I like to get rid of. There's plants that I want to repurpose for the plant wall. So this is going to be a series. It's going to be a 3-part series. The first part, this video here, is the clean out and the beginnings. Next part will be the plant wall. Third part will be some new things that I'm trying out. So first thing first is getting rid of plants that I no longer love, and then setting aside plants that need to be that I want to maybe give away or that I want to repurpose for the plant wall. And then I think there's some other things that I need to do as well. I just can't think of them off the top of my head, but just resituating, moving things around. I'll give you a closer look as well as what I mean as why I want to change what's, well, that happened. Luckily though, it landed on its feet. Can y'all see? Landed on its feet. Made a mess, but landed on its feet nonetheless. Shout out to the begonia. That's how we're starting this video off. All right. My God. So basically this is what's going on with this shelf here. A lot of unruly plants. Again, plants, some that I really am not into anymore, that I need to give away or that I can put on the wall. Definitely that pothos is getting kind of scraggly, needs to have something done with it. And then similar idea for this curved shelf. Some plants that I need to get rid of, give away. We're just gonna see what we can do with what we have to refresh this area. So I'm just gonna go shelf by shelf, and this top shelf, I don't really have much I wanna do, but I do wanna show you my favorite plant right now is, oh my God, this philodendron. Like, look how beautiful it's growing. This is from, I wanna say a 1 or 2 leaf cutting. Look at it. I chopped it months ago to make a plant for the plant wall, and then it branched off, and it's just so gorgeous. So that's happy up there. I do actually do, that's a lot of do's. I do actually want to clean off the shelves. So let me get some paper towel and spray, and I'll do that, because I could do something with this syngonium, but only thing I would do at this point is just take off this lazy pole and put a stake on it. But I don't really hate what it's doing right now, so I'm just gonna leave it there. But yes, let me get something to wipe down the shelves. Now this I would like to maybe be able to repurpose onto the plant wall. It's not looking very lush, but I'm not sure if there's something I can do with it, but I definitely don't want it to stay here. So I'm gonna take it, it's just in water. So I really ideally, I mean, there's a ridiculous amount of roots in there, but ideally I could just, oh, there's a mandula here. Wow, okay. So I have a mandula here, and I have a marble queen. So, but this doesn't look happy at all. So I'd have to start this part over. But even if I just planted this, I'll see. We'll work it out. I'm gonna put it on the table, set aside for something to be done with it. And same thing with this. Something needs to be done with this. I like this plant, but look at it. It's just one long vine. So I'm thinking of putting it in soil and wrapping it around to make it a little bush, like so, and then grow it from there. And hopefully the nodes that I'm able to put into the soil will be able to create a fuller plant. I don't know how well it's gonna do, being that it's so white. Like, it's ridiculous. Does it have spider mites? Probably all these plants have spider mites. This is the Pariso in my last video that we just threw into water because we didn't have anything to do with it. Just gonna take this leaf off. So basically my goal is to just lighten the load on here. It doesn't have to be so filled with plants. And it didn't start off that way, to be honest. Well, it probably did. I'm lying, it probably did. But now I don't want it to be. What I do want to put back up here is this. I want to put it on this side because I think it'll do better with a little bit less light because they were previously getting bleached. The Pariso, same thing, a little bit less light over here. Now, what can live here? I don't know. Oh, I do know. Perfect. Okay. I have 2 plants, 3 actually, that I want to introduce to this area. These plants were living on my windowsill because they're like the only plants that can survive on the windowsill, a hanging cactus or hanging succulent. This is either a donkey's tail or a burro's tail, one of those. So I would love for it to hang, but even if it just sits off the side there, that'd be cute. I might move it, keep it, I don't know. I have another one, which I do want to put this in a cuter pot. This is not looking its best in this pot, but as of right now, I don't have anything to put it in. But I think that will like it there. Let me see, I gotta see if I can find something for this so that doesn't look so undone. The only reason this doesn't bother me is because it's covering the pot. I thought of hanging it from the curtain rod, but I don't know, it still kind of does look crowded. I'm gonna let it sit there for a minute. Let me mull over it for a minute while we move on. All right, I think we're gonna move to the next level. That top shelf though is looking super crowded. Maybe I will move this syngonium somewhere else. I'm used to there being some more height up there, but I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it for now because if I keep moving it around, I won't be able to see like what it is that I want to change. So now we're on the lower 2 levels. And this is honestly where the bulk of the plants are. This begonia for sure is something I'd like to gift away. The only reason I'm hesitant about it is because it is so bleached. So I'm not sure if it even looks good enough to give away to somebody. It's okay, but it's just not, it's not great. So I'm on the fence about just throwing this away or actually giving it to someone. But still, it's not gonna stay on this shelf. My Frydek, I definitely still want to be here. I just need to find a new spot on the shelf for it because as you can see the way the leaves are facing, I don't know if the sun is different this year because this is the 3rd plant that lived on this shelf last year, but for some reason this year is having a hard time. So this one, you can see the leaves are clearly doing things. They're doing somersaults, okay? They're not happy here. But this plant lived here last summer. My Pariso Verde, my toe has a cramp in it. Oh my God. Okay, this happens when you're old. Can I do this? It was comfortable, okay. My Pariso Verde also lived on this shelf last year, did great, and now this year it's not. And then my McDowell, which you'll see in a little bit, or you might be able to see the leaf reaching over here maybe, was closer here doing great and then suddenly wasn't and was facing downwards. So, and last year was supposed to be hotter than this year, but I don't know, maybe the sun, I don't know. But either way, it's not happy here. But what I do want to do today though, I need to stop saying that. What I do want to do today though, is pot this deeper and get some more rootage along here. And it probably wouldn't mind being up potted, which reminds me, I do want to clean some substrate because there are a couple plants that I want to resituate for this shelf. So let me go put some substrate on the stove to clean and then we'll continue. Okay, so that is boiling. Now, this plant, although it looks sad, it's on the up and up. I know it doesn't look like it is, but it's on the up and up. Therefore, it's staying on the shelf, and preferably this middle shelf because it gets some, but not too much. But I guess while we're here, we can at least pull the ugly leaves off to make it not look so bad. It's just, this was a transfer from soil to semi-hydro. and it had a rough time. And then because it was having such a rough time, I got not bored of it. I just didn't like it as much because it was just looking ugly all the time. So, but it's trying to make a comeback. It's always putting out new leaves, so it's really a survivor. And I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram or not, but I posted on the stories one night, this plant is producing leaves or growths of some sort on the roots. I just find that so bizarre. I've never seen that before until this plant is doing it on this side here. And it's doing it on this side here. I did a poll on that same stories that I had posted, and maybe like 2 or 3 of you guys said that you've seen that before, and most of y'all were like, no, I've never seen that in my life. So this is a propagation. This spot is kind of good though for these little plants. You can see my other Enjoy is doing really good back here, but this is gonna go onto the shelf for sure. All right, I have 2 things here. I'm not sure if I want to put this here. I really love this plant and it's been living in the sunroom, but I do feel like it's something that could live here and do fine. And then I have the Ripsalis as well. Now that I see it here, it's a little too wide and wild for this space. Even if I were to rearrange this, I kind of want it to get more direct sunlight. I don't want it to be that shaded. And it's probably fine actually. If I took that hook off, obviously. That's clashing for me, so that's a no. I mean, this doesn't have to be here. This could be here. Nah, it was getting direct sunlight before and I want it to stay that way. So, oh no. I'm sorry, we're gonna put you right back in here. There you go. Clearly you need some water. I could put this here and then a couple of little guys next to it. Like that. Okay. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Now for this next shelf, I'm pretty sure you guys can see this one as well. The jumping begonia, first of all. Wow, okay. I do want this to stay here, and I actually don't mind putting it up here. I think it'd be nice there to give some height on that side. Some of these plants are gonna look wild because they're not where they used to be. And so the leaves are growing differently. I'm not loving this, but I'm gonna let the process do what it do. Now down here, I do like this SP Columbia here. It just needs to be in a long planter, which we're not doing today, but I do want to keep it there. And for this alocasia, I think this is a great spot as well. I'm gonna leave that there. This Say Blue, I would like to put on the plant wall, so I'm gonna take this for that. And this alocasia is gonna stay, but this is gonna be the alocasia shelf because we're gonna have 2. Oh no, oh, I have another alocasia I can put here too. I have 2 alocasia I can put there. Yes, we're gonna make that the alocasia shelf. Okay, let's put all of these here. I think that'll be so cute. All right, let's wipe it down. Okay, so we want this to be an alocasia shelf. I do think I want to move this over here because it is getting quite large. Should we let go of this leaf? Yeah, why not? It's killing the vibe. want to move this too. I don't want this here. Oh, my SP goes there. Okay, I forgot about you. My gosh, you can't live here because my SP was thriving there. Okay, you're going back in your spot. We can get rid of this leaf. Now, you're gonna have to be over here, but it's okay. It's just gonna fill this area out a little bit. Don't worry about that new leaf though. I mean, what is on the back of this leaf? Oh my gosh. Is it okay? It has spider mites. Of course it does. It's infested. Okay. This is gonna be treated and then it'll go back on the shelf. Look at this ugly leaf. Well, the back of this leaf. Can you see? There's just a lot going on there. And the front of this leaf should have been a warning. All those spots like that. Last row is the anthurium row. I am considering moving these anthuriums just because this one is probably bleached. I just can't see it from this angle. Do we have any spider mites? No? Okay, good. Maybe I'll move this out the way and slide everything over. So the first shelf is relatively done. The only thing pending is the 2 fry decks that I want to go on the lower shelves. And I like it. I like how much lighter and airy it looks. It doesn't look as heavy and densely populated. So when I do the final finishing touches, as I revamp those 2 allocations, I'll give you a final pan. This area is not staying like that. The ficus is gonna go somewhere else and that cactus is gonna go back to where it was, but I'm probably gonna keep those other 2 philodendrons there. So this is what we're starting off with, how this shelf is looking at this moment. This is one of my areas where I have artificial light. In this lamp here, I have my Sansi light that is in this. I was trying to tighten it, so, oh, there we go. Okay, well, whatever. I have my Sansi light in this lampstand that I got from Amazon. The Sansi light was sent to me and I do like it. I was skeptical. I was skeptical because I like really white, bright white lights, and this one, as you can see, is a little softer, warmer tone, but it's not super warm, so it doesn't look really yellow like I don't like. So thank you, Sansi, for sending me this light. It is nice powered light, as you can see. So things are growing well on this shelf, and so the Sansi light is definitely doing this plant shelf right. And the bulb itself is actually really hot but also kind of pretty. It's gonna be too hot. Hold on, I want to show you what it looks like, because some people like to do pendant light staging with their plants. So this would be nice for that because it's not an ugly bulb. Like, it's a nice looking bulb so that you could use it as a pendant and it would look really nice. So it's a pretty high powered. I'll put the specs on the screen. Of course, I have a discount code if you want. You can pick up a Sansi light. I like Sansi also because they have different ranges. They have a lot of different strengths for their bulbs. Some are stronger power, some are lower power, so you can find a Sansi light for anywhere that you need to put it. So if you do want something that's not as strong, I usually prefer the strongest and then just move the plants around, but you can get something, of course, with a softer tones. So I'm definitely going to keep keeping this here, and then as we get this area set up, I have some smart outlets that I want to install for this area here. so that this light will go on and off as needed and I won't have to worry about turning it on every day. But it still looks good. It looks very, very nice. So we're gonna do the same thing and just kind of work our way top to bottom. This orchid I definitely want to put into moss. It dries out so quickly in the wood chips that it came in. I do not like it at all. So I just want to make an easy quick change of this over, and maybe I'll put it in this black pot instead of this white pot, so it'll go better in my room. Yes, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna put this aside so we can resituate that. These little babies are definitely going on the plant wall. We can pull this little old leaf off. That was the original prop leaf. Interesting, I cut this this came off of the other one you guys saw on the other shelf, and look how much it's grown compared to the one in semi-hydro. Yeah, semi-hydro, if you want fast growing plants, put them in semi-hydro. So I have little white pots that I will be putting these in for the plant wall. I probably will let this trail on the plant wall. I probably won't have it up like that, so that it'll be something like that. I don't know, we'll see. But these are gonna come off of this shelf, to say the least. So the only thing that's probably gonna go up here is the orchid for now. So I'm gonna leave it empty and move down to the next shelf. This, I think I'm ready to let go of. Oh, casualty, casualty. You out here causing drama. So this used to be a very beautiful lipstick plant, and it all went downhill when I moved out of my apartment back home because it got cold damage in the process of the move. I will insert a picture of what this thing used to look like compared to now. I think we can all agree that it's time to let it go. I did think of taking some cuttings, but I don't have it in me. I do not have it in me, so I'm just gonna throw this whole thing out. That's something that's been weighing on me because I hate giving up on stuff. I'm a very commitment oriented person, and I don't mind a little challenge. And so I held on to it for so long because I didn't want to let it go. It was one of my first house plants that I purchased, but it was time to let it go. Oh, wow, look how empty it is over here now. Wow. But now that I'm thinking about it, it might be a good spot for that Ripsalis. Where is it? It's a lot smaller, obviously, but with the Sandy light, I think it'll get a decent amount of light here. That's so pathetic. Even if I turn it this way. Oh, there's a hook over here. Okay. Nah. Because what I do have in mind that I want to put here is my Monstera if it can fit. So let's get there. Let's start over here first. I do think I want to keep some tiny Hoyas on the shelf. I think it's really cute. This lower shelf, can you see it? You can see the top of it. It's pretty full, so I probably want to rearrange that. And maybe I'll put one on the top shelf with the orchid. My Hoya shelf, I guess. Okay, let's move down because there's some more things down there that I want to get rid of, and that will make more space. Okay, so for those lower shelves, there's a lot of stuff going on down here on the floor, which I do want to alleviate. I don't think I want anything to be on the floor. This El Chaco, I'm kind of surprised it's struggling with this repot. I'm gonna let it, try to resituate itself. I'm not gonna do anything to it right now, but this, I think, is a plant that I'm ready to let go of. Again, one of my very first house plants that I purchased, and it's a Homalomena Selby. It's a beautiful plant, but obviously me and it are not getting along. It does always grow, it just always looks terrible. I would give this away, but I recently just treated this for spider bites, and so it's probably still has spider bites. So I think this is another one we're gonna check. We're gonna have to check this one. This golden goddess, I have mixed feelings about. It does fill this space really nicely and it just looks really nice, but I'm not 100% in love with it anymore. And it's just there for me. It's not a plant that I'm like, oh, how's it doing? You know, like it's just there for me. I think this is something I would give away. I don't know, I think this might be too much to give to someone. This is like a lot, this plant. So what I'm thinking in my mind to do is chop it and make a smaller plant or several smaller plants to give away. Either way, it's not gonna stay here, I don't think. Oh wow, okay. It's looking mighty empty. A lot of dead leaves. So I might as well just remove these last few. I have the Anthurium calens, the Worcester, which I'm a little, I'm worried. It's looking super discolored. I don't know if it's because I just moved it to this spot and maybe it's getting too much light. It has EFNs on it that I've never seen before. Is that spider mites? It is. Okay. Well, it's suffering from spider mites, so that's going to be something we're going to take care of. And I'm not sure if I'm going to put it back there because I'm not sure if it's too much light. I think we're going to end up moving it somewhere with a little less light, which I don't know where that's going to be because I feel like everywhere is highlight. This is also something you can see the top leaves. I wasn't sure what it was at first, but now I believe it's burned, all of these spots up here. And again, and I think it's because it just grew up taller closer to the light, so that's why I moved it over here. But either way, I have to wipe this down and then I can move it back. It looks so crazy right now, but y'all know how birthday marks go. I'm not worried about that plant. Since this is a Hoya shelf, I can put this pubic calyx there. Oh, I love it. See, I like this so much more the way this is right now. Okay, so this is what we're tentatively looking like, pending the orchid up top there in the black pot. So I guess what I'll do is set up a little station and I'll resituate some of those plants that we talked about, and then we'll put them in their final home. So I just want to situate these last couple of plants, repot them so that they can be in their permanent home on the shelf. This is what we're going to be putting into here. I'm repotting this because I want to cover all of this exposed stem, and I want it to be in a larger pot. I wouldn't say it's root bound, but it's been in here for quite a while, so I think it'll appreciate the upgrade. Let's take a look at the roots while we're here. And they look good. This plant literally came back from the dead. This is the substrate that I was talking about cleaning. It's slightly warm, like it's not hot anymore. It's just slightly, yeah, it's very slightly warm to the touch. It's not hot. So hopefully we don't start this plant back at square one by putting it in warm substrate. Oh geez. Oh man, I'm gonna take up all of this, aren't I? And I don't have any, I was gonna say to put some leca at the bottom. I don't have any leca anymore. I need to buy some more. Ooh, this is a tight squeeze. Perfect. Perfection. Okay. I am happy with this. It looks wonky right now because of where it was living. It wasn't happy, so we're gonna move it and put it on a different shelf. The last task, I said last. The last task is this orchid. I'm probably going to throw away this. It's in wood chips? I forget what you call it. Bark. It's in bark. Oh, interesting. There's moss in the center and bark around the outside. Interesting. Okay, well, we definitely have some maintenance to do on this, so it's a good thing I potted it. Let's take a closer look. I was wondering why my table looked different. It was because I forgot to put my green mat down. So this orchid is not happy at all. At all. There is a lot of dried up roots here, so I'm gonna remove all of this. Look at that. Oh. This might be okay because this tip here is fairly white. So I'm gonna leave these dried up smashed ones, but definitely removing all of this. I think I'm gonna get rid of this moss as well and give it new moss. Did not expect this to turn into a rehab, but here we are. So even though these don't look good, I'm gonna leave them because they are actually still growing. So they're still alive, no matter how bad they actually look. And you can tell if a orchid root is dead because the live ones are really hard to pull off. Like, it takes a lot of force to pull off a live orchid root. If it's dead, it's probably just gonna come off. Like how all of these ones just did. So it's been in this moss probably, how long have I had this plant? Has it been a year? Almost a year maybe? Look at this. I'm gonna cut this whole bottom piece probably. Yeah, because this whole thing doesn't look good. Can y'all see? I wish I had, I don't like not having my mat. What was I thinking? I hope this video doesn't end up being too long. I want all of these parts to be no more than 30 minutes. I know the what's it called is gonna be longer. The plant wall part is probably gonna be longer. So I'm gonna cut all of this because there are no healthy roots coming off of this part. I'm scared. Maybe I'll just cut the roots off. As soon as I went to go cut it, I got scared. I chickened out. Let me just cut the tip and see what it looks like. Oh no, it's dead. Okay. So we're just gonna cut little by little. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna cut anymore because there is live roots here. And this is actively growing leaf, actively growing roots here. So, all right. As bad as these look, they are still alive. So we're gonna leave that. Oh, look at all of these new little roots trying to pop out. Okay, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be just fine. Okay, it's super dusty. Let me get a damp cloth. You don't ever want to like submerge your leaves or put water on top, because if water sits in here, they will rot off pretty easily. But it's super floppy because it's severely dehydrated. The moss I'm gonna put it in is damp though, so I'm not worried. But I do want to get a damp paper towel for this. I love orchids. I have an orchid that I potted into leca and it's actually doing really well. It's not in spike yet, but it has put out new leaves since being in there. I can't tell about the root system. I don't see any new roots, but I assume it's doing okay because it's not dying. I don't even think it's lost the leaf since I put it in there. It's doing pretty good. Okay, that looks so much better. Even though these are plain green leaves, I don't know, I really like these. I don't know if it's the texture, the shape, how they fall. Like, I just love orchids even without their blooms. So I'm gonna put it back into the same container and we're using moss instead. I think, oh, oops, I snapped it. I wanna put it lower. And I kind of wanna put all of moss in the middle, kind of like how it was before. Yeah. Put these around the outside. Push a little lower. I'm excited. I always get excited to revive or revamp a plant because I just feel like it just gives it a new, I don't know, like a fresh start, and you know it's gonna do better and like grow more. Oh, I forgot I chopped this moss. Okay, I'm wondering why it's feeling like this as I'm picking it up. It's not coming up in chunks and it's falling into pieces. I think I cut it up. Interesting. But anyways, like I was saying, it's just exciting. Really, really exciting. I like this. I'm excited. Hopefully we'll get a new spike soon. I gotta get some orchid fertilizer. I actually think that I've had some in my car for the longest because it was a friend's at the time. And I always said, oh, I'm gonna give it to her, and then just never gave it back to her. Not intentionally, it just didn't work out. Okay. It's a little low in there, but I think it's good. I like the way it looks better because it just goes with my room better. Finally made use of this black pot. The other plants have been treated for spider mites. They're just dripping dry. I'm about to put everything in its spot and give you a final look. So this is how my L-shaped shelf is looking now. I'm really happy with it. I kept fidgeting with this one shelf here because the Glorious is just not looking its best, so it's just a little hard to situate this. I would prefer this to be, it is in a smaller pot, it's just in an ugly pot, so that's why it's in this black pot, but the black pot is too large. So we'll get that in its final state, but that's the idea. And then we do have a little height up here with the begonia. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to stay here because of the amount of light, and that does like to dry out pretty fast, and it probably needs a bigger pot, but for right now that's what we have it. And I guess it probably would only take 2 seconds for me to pot it into a bigger pot. I might do that today. But either way, it'll probably stay there, but it'll help being there with all the light if it has more of a water reservoir. But yeah, we got the allocations a little bit lower. Hopefully it'll be able to tolerate that space better. And then the anthuriums all the way at the bottom, completely shaded. Again, hoping that it will be able to tolerate the space better. This one, however, is still gonna get quite a bit of light. I just brought it back. I am realizing that I don't have as many areas for anthuriums as I thought I did, but here we are. And of course, anytime you guys arrange plants, it's always gonna be a process. There's always gonna be some readjusting and readjusting. So let me show you the other shelf as well so you can get the final look. All right, so this is the final look of my curved shelf with my Sandsy light looking good. If I can get a picture once the sun sets and you can see really the strength and the color and how it looks with just the Sandsy light, because right now there's a lot of sunlight coming in, and so you're not getting the full effect of the Sandsy. And shout out to Sandsy again for sending me the light. Thank you very much. It goes perfect for the ambiance here. And I like it. Again, I like how light and airy this feels now. Before it was very heavy. I do like jungle vibes, I do. But sometimes it's hard to maintain those jungle vibes and to keep it looking nice. So I really like this. I like that I really can't see the moss pole behind my elbow all that much. And I realize also now that it's not gonna last there much longer. So, you know, we'll love it. Actually what I can do is just move it down to there once it gets too tall and just swap them out. So we'll see. That's a problem for another day. But yeah, I really like how everything is looking here. I'm not sure I'll have to do too much adjusting with these plants just because most of these plants have lived in this space already. We just got rid of a lot on this shelf. So stay tuned for the next part of this video where we will be revamping, or not even revamping, creating a plant wall, but it's going to be from repurposed plants from both of these shelves. And yeah, we're just continuing, excuse me, this refresh process. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.